Hi folks, Dr. Ed Beyer of Beyer Natural Health Solutions here in Tinley Park, Illinois. I practice what's known as functional medicine, and that means we try to get to the underlying causes on why people have all these chronic problems. And one of the biggest chronic problems that I see is constipation. Very, very common symptom, and there's a lot of different reasons for it, and I want to cover the main ones that I see. And so, well, first of all, with constipation, that leads to a whole bunch of other problems. I know it's uncomfortable to be constipated, but when you're not moving your bowels regularly, toxins that are in your fecal material are getting reabsorbed right back into the bloodstream, and that causes fatigue, it causes liver detoxification, kidneys don't work as well, headaches, brain fog. It stimulates the immune system to attack your own tissue. So it just leads to a lot of bad, and malabsorption, so nutritional deficiencies. It just leads to a lot of bad things. Hormone imbalances, especially in females, because estrogens get deconjugated in the digestive tract and reabsorbed right back into the bloodstream. So it can be a cause of one of the factors in breast cancer. So it's just not a good thing to have. So I want to cover one of the main reasons here on this first slide of why we get constipated, and it's due to a poor gut microbiome. So we have living in us, in our intestines, just trillions and trillions of these bacteria, and we provide them a nice hospitable home, and they give us a lot of beneficial things that really add to our health. But what happens in a lot of people is that they overgrow. Right? And that is usually due to pH problems in the stomach, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But when you have overgrowth of bacteria, it's known as SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or dysbiosis. But let's just call it bacterial overgrowth. They got so many names for so many different things, it gets confusing. So these bacteria, what they do is they ferment our fiber that we eat, like from vegetables and fruits and grains and things like that. And that's how they receive their nutrition. But then they give off gas whenever they do that. So that's a normal thing. But when they're overgrown, they give off too much gas. And if that gas is methane gas that they give off, that's going to shut down the motility of the bowel. And it happens to be hydrogen gas that causes the opposite, diarrhea. So this is the diarrhea part is the so-called irritable bowel syndrome. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about constipation. So usually what creates this, one of the main causes, is poor stomach acidity. So when you have poor stomach acidity, the whole pH of the digestive tract changes in a negative way, and it's just like a pool, right? If a pool doesn't have proper pH, things grow that you don't want growing. So when we have poor stomach acidity, people are going to have usually acid reflux or GERD. And you'd be like, how can that be? If the acids are low, how do they have GERD? Well, follow this logic. If you have too little acidity in the stomach, your food doesn't break down quick enough, and the acids you do have get pushed because of the pressure, the bloating, get pushed back upward. And the ironic part is you go to a traditional doctor, and they're going to give you acid reducers, which symptomatically makes you feel better because you got too much acid up here because you got too little down here. So taking things like acid reducers, Nexium, Prilosec, omeprazole, all these different, protonics and things like that, may give you short-term relief, but they create a lot of problems, and this is one of them. All right, the other thing that can cause constipation is a sedentary lifestyle. When we move, that sends all kinds of input into the brain, and if you don't know this by now, but the brain controls digestion. So lack of movement will create low motility in the gut. So exercise and moving your body is a really, really good thing for constipation. So this is a lifestyle change that people need to do. Now, to get a little bit more technical, the actual connection between the brain and the stomach and the digestive tract is called the vagus nerve, VAGUS. So it's like a highway from our brain stem all the way down to our gut. And so a lot of times that nerve will stop functioning. Now, what is the number one reason why that nerve will start to slow down is systemic or whole body inflammation, which that's usually the culprit. That could be like food sensitivities, poor diet, the overgrowth of bacteria, leaky gut syndrome, autoimmune disease, just many things can cause you to be systemically inflamed. So we look at the inflammation as a way of fixing this problem. So when the vagus nerve starts to slow down due to systemic inflammation, we start to see bloating because you're not producing enough acid in the stomach, and acid reflux, constipation, dry eyes, dry mouth, snoring. You know how many people have those symptoms? Sleep apnea and problems swallowing. Again, what we'll give the patient are actual exercises to stimulate that nerve, like making yourself gag stimulates it, or gargling or humming. So then there's a lot of different ways. So these are some neurological exercises we would give the patient when we know that their vagus nerve is not working very well. That's very easy to detect on the exam. The fourth thing that will slow down the motility of the gut is low thyroid. And I don't want to get into all the different reasons, but let me just tell you that there are 22 ways the thyroid can slow down, and traditional medicine only looks at a few of them. So if you know you have a thyroid problem, I have a whole other video on that. So I hope that helps. I know a lot of you are suffering with constipation. It's a horrible way to live. It's usually pretty easy to solve once you look at the true underlying causes. I'm Dr. Ed Beyer. I hope you enjoyed this information today. If you did, please like or share this information with someone that you know may be suffering from constipation, or subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Ed Beyer. I look forward to sending you more information in the near future.